What's good, YouTube? I'm back again with another video, and this is not a jersey video. This is not a sneaker video. This is something that actually you guys have been calling out and trying to see or ask for some advice or tips. At first I wasn't going to do this. I think after about the 10th comment I said, you know what, maybe I could do something very general. So this video is going to be on my fitness tips on nutrition. All right. And I'm going to tell you now right off the bat, I'm no guru. I'm still figuring out stuff. And I'm not going to give you specifics on what I do every day. Only because, God forbid, you eat the way I eat and you end up in the hospital. But I could still give you really good tips that I think every and any person pretty much can use. Right? So this is going to be a two-part video. Today's video is going to be on nutrition. The second video is going to be on actually working out. So we're going to have two videos for these. I will say this, and I have my phone here for notes. So in case you guys are like wondering why I have a phone. First thing I want to say is, if you want to write this down, I think that'll help. I've actually wrote pen and paper, information that some videos had. I think you process it better when you write it down versus maybe typing on something or just trying to remember. And the second thing is there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. So you can get to fitness goals in plenty different avenues. I happen to choose one path. That doesn't mean you could choose another path and still reach the same goals. To me, it's about sustainability, something I could do for a forever thing, right? So my first tip and first thing I want to talk about when it comes to nutrition is sleep. And you're probably wondering, bro, what are you talking about? Sleep is not food. You're 100% right. Sleep is not food, but it's so vital and so important to a lot of things. So really, it's the most important thing other than actually putting food in your mouth and the correct foods in your mouth, period. So you can have an amazing diet, right? But without proper sleep, you still may not be able to get the goals that you think you can achieve. And vice versa. You can have great sleep, and then without proper nutrition, you're not going to be able to reach the goals that you think you can achieve. So they're kind of a marriage, and they work hand in hand. Working out's actually probably the least important of the three. So sleep being one, nutrition being two, or vice versa. And then working out probably the least valuable out of the three if, fitness goals and losing weight, etc. is a part of your future. Why is sleep important? One is it regulates all the hormones. It helps with brain function. It actually affects your behavior and how you eat. So, for example, if you have a really good night's sleep, you don't feel so rushed in the morning to eat something bad. You don't crave anything. And the less sleep you get, you have more cravings. So again, it's like a marriage. This is why I put sleep at number one when it came to nutrition, because good sleep can lead to good habits. You ever had those like crazy hangover days? You slept maybe 2, 3, 4 hours and you feel like shit, and the only thing you want to eat is the greasiest, saltiest food you could possibly find. And then you still feel like shit because it's not really quality food. And of course you're dehydrated and there's a whole bunch of things going on. But again, that quality of sleep or that lack of quality of sleep can lead to bad decisions, especially food decisions. We can get away with skipping workouts 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, even a week, couple of weeks if necessary, without really losing pretty much anything. But you lose sleep, you lose a lot more. So it could take days to recover, weeks to recover from maybe a bad night or two of sleeping, which can lead to now a bad day or two of eating. My biggest thing, so for most people, get your sleep right. Sleep 7 to 9 hours straight if possible. If you need to take a nap, if it's necessary, do so. But I think sleep is super vital to health in general. Sleep is also where your body is the most active. So your brain is active. It's clearing out all the garbage for the day. So it's really important for your brain, but it's also important for your body. It's where your body heals the most. It's where your body makes the most adjustments, putting nutrients to where they need to be put, repairing muscle. So sleep does so many things. Without great sleep, it's really difficult, right? Now, not to say somebody hasn't done it with 3, 4, 5 hours of sleep, but the chances of being successful are a lot slimmer with lower hours of sleep. All right, so that's the first thing. Tip number 2: nutrient dense foods, foods that don't have ingredients or ingredient labels. So, like I said, there's many ways to skin a cat. You can be vegan, you could be keto, pescatarian, whatever you think you can keep up with and do on a consistent basis and eat healthy that way is what I think I would recommend. So if you're not really a red meat eater and you rather seafoods or you rather vegan, however you do it, just make sure it's not processed foods. Make sure it's whole foods. Whole foods are everything. When I look at ingredients for red meat, it's just meat. It's really just that. Same thing with fruit. Like, there's no processed food. There's no preservatives in these things. And that's super important. That's super important on how your digestive system runs. And that's super important on how you feel in general. Just getting better quality food without the nonsense. The reason why I say that is because somebody may think that because they're vegan or they're eating vegan, that they're eating healthy when they can be eating just as bad as somebody who doesn't. So a vegan potato chips may be loaded with 1,000 ingredients, but because it's pushing the agenda of vegan doesn't necessarily make it healthy. Now, what's healthy is cooking up some spinach in a bone broth. That's pretty healthy. If you don't want to use bone broth, because that's, technically kind of animal, cooking it in some water. Cooking it in water, throwing a little salt, pepper, and letting it cook spinach, that's totally fine. Or cooking potatoes and boiling the potato or baking the potato. Nothing wrong with that. A lot of things are labeled vegan and aren't necessarily healthy. So just be careful with that. Processed foods, no go. Whole foods is where it's at. Stick with whole foods and you're going to feel better already. All right. So that is tip number 2. Tip number 3, and this is very important. I'm not a fan of fad diets. I like balanced diets. I don't like a diet that says I can't have a healthy strawberry or a healthy orange, a melon. I don't like a diet that says cut carbs. Personally, now I've done them all, and this is just from what I experienced. I've done carnivore diet, which is crazy, and that was so bad. I haven't done vegan. I probably never will. I've done keto and high fat, low protein. That's not it for me personally. People may like those diets, and if it works for you, stick with it. If it's something you can sustain, do it. If you enjoy it, do it. But me, I couldn't do it. I need to have a little bit of fruit. I need to have a little bit of potatoes. I need to have maybe a cup of rice with my steak one day. Like, I'm not going to have rice every day, but I'm not going to not have rice if it's available. So I say that to say, just be careful on the fad diets. It's usually a quick fix. You think it's going to get you somewhere in 2 weeks, but in 3 months, you've now added more weight because you've took away so much that you almost have like this sick craving for it. So to me, fad diets end up digging you into a deeper hole. Unfortunately, balanced diet is where I would start with. All right, personally. Next tip is food prep. So one of the biggest, studies is that people who food prep stay on diets more. Now, me personally, I can eat the same foods every day. So it's super easy for me to food prep. Somebody like my wife, who likes variety throughout her day and throughout her week, it's more of a challenge for her to food prep because she wants this and she doesn't want that and she can't eat the same thing every day. I understand that. And you want to push towards these goals to where you want to be. Sometimes you may have to sacrifice eating the same things because it's just easier to stay on your diet. Personally, I food prep. I bring my food to work every day. I eat salmon. I eat bison, red meat. That's pretty much the staple. Potatoes, eggs, spinach, fruit. Those are pretty much my main food groups. I still enjoy a really nice coffee. I'm not super restrictive to that extent. I've lost weight on having coffees. People get too restrictive, I think, sometimes. and take out things that are unnecessary. Just monitor and be mindful. Put a little half and half in your coffee if that's what makes you happy. But just be mindful. Again, don't have 5 cups of coffee or don't have cups and cups of half and half. That won't help either. Food prepping is super important, man. Super important. And another tip I want to say is pay attention to foods that don't like you, right? Now, you may like the food. Like, I love a burrito. And I love everything on it. like, I love a burrito. But I've come to grips with the fact that my body doesn't digest beans so well. So I may have the bubble guts. I may be farting a lot. These are all things that now I'm paying attention to, that I would say you may be eating foods that your body may not necessarily love. And the effects of that is it can affect your digestive system, which affects how you absorb the food as well. So easy digestive system absorbs more of the food. More disgruntled digestive system may not absorb the food as much. So like I said earlier, beans for me, can't do it. I could drink tons of milk. Tons of milk. Like maybe probably close to a quart to a half gallon in one day. Like throughout the day. Like not just OD and just drink a half gallon. That's crazy. But I could drink dairy. Now, some people can't. Really, some people can't. Like almost half the population can't. If you're one of those people that can't, don't mess with it. There's other avenues to get calcium. There's hard cheese. There's Greek yogurt. These things have less lactose that milk has a high amount of. You want to be mindful of what food you put in your body. For me, beans. As much as I love to have beans in my nice burrito bowl, Chipotle bowl, and it's amazing, I know it just wreaks havoc in my system. So I've been staying away from the beans. And I know beans are pretty good for you. It has good carbs, it has some protein, it has a lot of things good for you. It just isn't good for my digestive system. So that is that. So my last tip, I'm kind of freestyling this one, but again, I'm going to touch on it a little bit. This whole no carbs thing, carbs aren't the enemy. You can have fruit, you can have a little bit of potatoes. Again, you can have vegetables. Some vegetables, if not most, need to be cooked for you to digest them properly. So keep that in mind as well. For the last thing, I personally don't count calories, but have a general idea of what you put in your body. So if you eat maybe 2,000-ish calories a day, and you find yourself maybe gaining weight, maybe you have to scale back just a little bit. I say this to say, I only buy 90-10 ground beef, right? But I know exactly the amount of calories in that after it's cooked, and I know exactly the amount of protein in that. So again, I'm not super crazy. You got to go and have this type of protein, or you got to count every single calorie. If you want to reach a specific goal like bodybuilding and stuff like that, I'm just living a normal life. If I want to enjoy a margarita, I'm not killing myself, stressing out how many calories in this margarita. But on your regular day to day, have a general idea of what you may be around. What ballpark figure. So if you do your 2 eggs in the morning, maybe a slice of toast, and personally, I use sourdough bread from Whole Foods. If I have a label, I'll put it up. It only has 3 ingredients. It doesn't have any preservatives. And I love that bread. My mom now loves that bread. My family's now eating that bread. The no preservatives, man, is just so good. But be careful because it'll rot much quicker. So those preservatives, you don't know what they're doing with you. But unfortunately, with the bread, they make it have a longer shelf life. Check that bread out. But anyway, just have a little bit of a mindset of how much calories you actually put in your body. All right? I hope these tips help out somebody. If it does, let me know down below. And again, just have fun with it. Too stressed out. Prep, go grocery shopping, get $100 worth of stuff. And that could be your set thing for the next few days, and take it from there. All right? On that note, we out. Peace.